Hey, everybody, welcome to the Immortals Inc. podcast, and I am Travis Miller, and I am going to be interviewing the guy who actually owns Immortal Inc.
Yes.
Today, doing a bit of a turnabout with our good friend Carlos.
Hello.
I'm here too.
Yeah.
And we have our good friend Mike.
Yep. I'm just
running the show,
watching
over
this
there.
beautiful thing. Trav's idea. We like it. I know you guys were probably like, whoa, Trav for the intro.
I got some things I want to say, but I can't bring them up because I'm the bad guy. If I'm questioned, then I have to. You know.
So I did not prepare Carlos for any of these questions. He's getting them right off the card.
Yes.
From my mouth to the microphone, and these will be the first. So this is the first time he'll be hearing anything I ask him today. So let's start.
All right. Well, what was this?
Well,
how did this come about? Like, how did
I as a gamer and as a soon-to-be self-published game designer,
plug.
And
oh yeah, we're plugging that.
I have sort of followed the business of selling games, making and selling games, and there are a lot of things that I did not know and that I've learned over my time developing my product and meeting people that actually are in the business at conventions and things like that, and finding out, this thing that I perceived to be true was actually not real, or was more complicated than I thought it was.
I'll do the best I can. I'm kind of like as I like to say, I'm a very uneducated man, but I just like to plow.
But you have your experience in your store, and I assume that you talk to other store owners, because I know you know a lot of the other store owners.
We talk. I can for sure.
But I don't know if you talk to people nationally or online or anything.
Yeah, I
very
see
much,
them and
but,
talk. Yeah, I
know you just went to Gamma. I'm sure there was some things.
Oh yeah,
some conversations that you had there.
A lot of anger. No, I'm kidding.
Experience educates.
Yeah, that's what they say.
That's what I said.
But there's always realities of how things work.
Versus
that things that you perceive to be true that aren't actually true.
All right, I'm ready.
So,
bam.
No, you're not.
One of my perceptions is that Wizards of the Coast counts for. I'm going to go going hard
right out of the bat on
right
that
out
one.
of the gate.
I thought it'd be like, how do you like a
D20? A big
D20?
percentage of a game shop's sales. Is that correct or?
Yeah, as a whole.
Right, the whole business.
The whole business, like you can include Magic and
D&D
and everything,
and
like
yeah. Right.
So yes, they do. They I couldn't give you a number off the top of my head because I don't know. That's something else. That's why I have an accountant. But if I lost it all, it would be difficult.
Okay.
I could still survive, but it would be hard. You know what I'm saying? D&D and Magic is what brings a lot of people in from the mainstream to play the other games.
Right.
So if you didn't have that, it would be gone. But yeah, it is a big part of what I sell. Recently, it's gone down. I'm not going to lie about that. It has gone. Like, I used to sell cases of Magic. Now I can get a couple cases and it'll last me a few weeks. The pre-sales are gone. For me, other places are, they might be better, but then their prices are lower. They might have a volume thing going on. Well, they do have a volume thing going on. And I always tell people, if you can get a better price, go ahead and grab it, But I know what I sell my stuff for. The D&D books have not been selling like they used to. It depends on the set. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
How do I say this nicely? If it's a book that seems to have extra and not just D&D and adventure, and there's some other
So it's like a tied in with some other property that Wizards of the Coast owns, or
no? If it seems like it has some sort of, and I hate to use this word, but agenda, or it's something that the mainstream wouldn't care for.
Okay.
Like I couldn't sell to everybody.
Right.
Flat out, because they're very, I just want to sell everything to everybody. That's my point. I don't want to specifically.
You don't want to segment your
I don't. It's like I want to sell to everybody. Customers. So like if it has something to do with that, then yeah, it doesn't sell as well. You know, like you got the Ravenloft, the Forgotten Realms, and the
Right.
the Vecna, and
Right.
it just came out, and stuff like that. The classic stuff that's good, and it's the villains and the worlds and everything great. But
Right.
sometimes like the side, the worst selling thing was Journey to the, what was that one?
Citadel.
No, that's so good too. Journey to the, oh my gosh, the one with the Fae and the
The yeah.
drawing a blank, but anyway,
Yeah.
It'll come back.
yeah. Oh, Radiant Citadel, the Radiant Citadel,
Citadel.
terrible. Just couldn't give those things away. Still sitting on some. So if you need a special copy, no, it's a special cover. But yeah, that didn't do so well. But yes, it is a big part of our sales because it's like we have Magic and D&D running all the time.
Right.
You kind of like if you're in a game if you're a game store in this day and age, you do have to carry that at one point or another.
Right.
I think just to get your customers in.
Yeah.
Right. Because there's probably, I mean, because you know, if you look at the ICV2 reports at all,
Mhm.
which, you know, they tend to always show the collectible card games, Magic, and as being like way bigger than
Oh, it is.
playing games.
Yeah, it
and-
is.
and
It
even
is.
board games too.
It is because it's a high volume. People can buy a pack here and there and more. It's easier to play that. You sit down with two people, play the game, and move on. It's 30 minutes, 40 minutes to play a game,
Right.
and you're done. And it's
Right.
it's collectible, and people like to buy it and stuff like that. So it's easier. Like, but now books, on the other hand, you know, when you buy a book, and
Right.
I like buying books all the day, you know, but people only buy one book for each release. You know, it's not like they
Right.
buy multiple copies to get like,
Right.
oh, maybe I'll get a better copy. You know,
Right.
it's just, and so you don't have the sales you do with collectible items that, you know, people can rip open and add their decks, trade or whatever, you know. So
Correct. Okay. Do you feel like that maybe Hasbro's pushing towards digital has hit game stores at all, or is that
if anything, I think it helps us. And once again, this is just my opinion.
okay?
But like Magic was a big one. We have Magic Online because it was going to be the end of Magic. Oh, they're going to play online and everything else. Well, you don't own anything when you buy a card online. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? And they'll start playing online. You might play it online. You're like, wait a minute, I'm spending all this money for nothing. You know, I own a digital imprint of
Right.
whatever, but you don't even own it. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? But at least if I go buy the card, I have something. You know,
Right.
and then you reach into a community because people like to sit and play. I know they do. You know, they like to interact with people. They like to see people. They like to talk to people. They like to play the game. So they're going to come in and buy that. That's what I saw with the online stuff. And, you know, there was no mass exodus from actually playing the game. If anything, I saw more people come in to play the game physically.
interesting.
So to me, that's what I saw.
Right.
And a lot of people would come in and say, hey, I'm playing this game. I didn't see anybody, like I didn't see customers or anybody go, oh, well, I'm going to go play online exclusively. No, I mean, you know, you spend, because it costs the same thing. I think a booster pack costs the same thing digitally or real.
Oh, really? I didn't know
I
that.
think, I don't know. I don't watch that much. You know, I don't
Uh-huh.
really care much about, because it doesn't I can't sell them. I can't deal with them. I don't trade them. So it doesn't affect me. So I don't worry about it, you know. So, but I do have people come in, oh, I play online. That's what I've heard. Just, you know, when you're sitting behind the counter, I don't know if you have or nothing. I've
Yeah.
played this game online.
I think over time, as we progress, the digital aspect of D&D will be the norm, and that I think, or it'll be more so pushed in a way to where it is more normalized than even right now. But like you said, I think
people like to own something. Like
I think the
you know,
tangibility is everything.
yeah, because they want to come in and they have like, oh, I have it online, but I want the book. Because,
Okay.
you know, to sit on your couch or, you know, like you said, like earlier before the podcast, I'd sit in study hall, be reading a D&D book, you know.
Right.
You still want to sit somewhere and read the book, and you want to physically have it and to see the photos. You know, there's something about in-print words, in-print photos, in-print illustrations that you can see and hold in your hand and be like, oh, there, I'm there. When it's on a screen, it's still just on a screen.
Well, you still get tons of. I know tons of people who don't use any books too here. Like they
Yeah.
just use D&D Beyond. Like the group that just left the RDI, they use their laptops, everything digital. I mean, it's what
And-
works for you, I guess.
Yeah, and but also I think the other part is like there's also the add-ons. Like if they come here, I mean D&D has to realize, or Wizards has to realize, if you don't have a game store where they can go play, you know, Amazon's not going to let them sit in their parking lot and play. And D&D they used to have stores, but they don't. You know what I'm saying? They don't have these massive hubs of places where people can gathering. We're the ones who push it out. The
Right.
stores themselves and allow them to play. Like I have to have certain play areas in order to carry certain things. You know what I'm saying? It's because they know it. If they try to go all digital, then what's the point of me carrying it?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like
Right.
I'll push, whatever. Lamentations of Flame Print. I'll
Right.
push, Traveler. I'll push Pathfinder. The ones that have the book because they're helping me. If you go all digital, then as a store, what's the point of me? I get no benefit, unless they come in and buy their digital copy from me, and then
Right.
I get whatever my usual cut or markup is. But they're not going to do that. They're at home, Like, why would you come here to buy it? And
Right.
there are some things like, no, I can't even think of one thing. If anything, it's the reverse. We were just talking about where you ever hear Bit and Mortar?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, Bit and Mortar is great. People buy a copy of a book and they come in and say, "Hey, can I get my digital copy?" And if it's there on the list of Bit and Mortar, I can send it in an email, and they have a digital and a regular.
Yeah,
So-
that's a great program. I think that's fantastic.
But people like their books, and even if they're playing it, and like a lot of people play online, it's younger people, right? It's a younger group.
Yeah. That's why I think as time progresses, it'll be more normalized.
Well, that and it's younger group, and then it's also financial because most younger people don't have the disposable income older people do. Like as you grow older, you get more money, and you're able to buy these things. So it's like, okay, I have the digital copy, but I want the book. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
So and I find that people come in and get it because they want it. And then people that don't come into the stores to play because they're at home playing, then that's on them. I'm not faulting the companies for doing that because it's like they generate a revenue so they can create more products so I can sell more products. And then, if they do play tabletop, they still buy miniatures and dice and all that. There's all the add-ons that come with it that they
Right.
purchase. So one book, no, it's not gonna break me. So, but you can make digital dice, but nobody likes digital dice. I mean, find me who likes digital dice. I mean, they're not, you don't have this, ooh, and then how hard is, then. Yeah, I mean that's just
there's no tension.
yeah. There's no like listening to the roll. There's no, and then cheating's just rampant. You digital. Oh, I got a 12. See, it's a calculator.
Who doesn't love a coded? Who doesn't love a coded die roll?
I work in. I'm mostly a role playing games guy. I always have been. I like board games. I like some war games as well, which are not so popular these days as they used to be.
War games.
Yeah.
They kind of.
Dude,
Are they coming
ironically-
back?
Yeah.
Are they really?
Ironically,
But see, there's another
Yeah.
there's another thing that I didn't know. That's
No,
perceptive.
they have a popular.
perception.
Yeah, it's always the same kind of people that play it, but it's like
Right.
I want to play a war game. I just
Right.
recently,
Right.
especially you get older and you pay attention to the news or whatever. I know I'm going off topic there, but yeah, like I'm, you just watch the news. You're like, man, that's terrible, but I could play a war game now.
Right,
It's like,
right.
But anyway, go ahead.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
No, that's a great thing to know. One of the biggest things I think that's changed the role playing games scene sort of broadly in the last 15 years has been digital distribution and print on demand products. Basically anybody with an email address can go on to Drive-Thru RPG or Lulu, or even there's a company called Ingram Spark. Ingram is one of the biggest distributors of books in the world. You can upload a file and you're now a published author.
Oh yeah.
So there's a huge amount of that stuff. Plus Kickstarter obviously is a big player in RPG.
Kickstarter.
Is in RPGs right now. There was hundreds of thousands, sometimes $1 million Kickstarters for games, and GameShop doesn't see a penny of that in some of those cases. I guess the question I have is, how do you think somebody like me who's self-publishing a product through Drive-Thru RPG or Lulu can partner with game shops to help both sides out? Because I obviously love game shops. I come down here on my own time, happy to come and talk to these guys. I play here, I buy products here. Love game shops. They're important to me. As a creator, I want to support game shops, but there's a big incentive for me not to.
Yeah, I get
There is. There's just
No,
a
I get it, I
financial
get it. No.
because if I print up a pile of books and then take them to game shops to try to sell them at a wholesale price, that's a pretty big chunk of my book profit that I don't get because I can mark it up for the sale price on Drive-Thru RPG
I
a
think
lot higher. It's not what I'm going to do, but yeah.
no, that's fine. I guess it comes down to business is business. Business, it's
Right.
nothing personal.
Right,
You're trying to
right.
make a buck. I'm trying to make a buck.
Right.
It's just a matter of negotiating what you need to do. Like, what was that company that came in here? Oh, that book. They had 50 adventures.
Yeah, wasn't it like a 5e supplement?
Yeah, it was a 5e supplement. They came in. They did a Kickstarter. They said, hey, listen, we did a Kickstarter, but we have copies of the book. Would you like to buy them wholesale and sell them? I said, yeah. And we did a whole video about it. And I push them all the time. I still, I bought like whatever, 10 or 12 copies or whatever it was. And, we sell them and I push it. And that was nice. I felt that was nice of them. Nerdarchy.
Right.
No, not Nerdarchy. Yeah, anyway. They came in and they sold it. And I thought that was nice. I don't know how it did for them, but
Right.
I understand that. But like, there's so much stuff because of that. You can self-publish anything.
Right.
I really, that's a lot of times in ordering. That's what I spend a lot of my time doing is you can't back every Kickstarter.
No.
Because that's just dumb. And, I don't know if I've been on a rant about Kickstarter.
You have.
And how I feel about it. And it's fine if you're a creator. Like you are a creator, you're going to go out, I'm going to write this book, I'm going to make this adventure, I'm going to kickstart it, and this is what I'm going to do. Great.
Right.
If it's good, it will sell. If it's good and it sells, then a distributor or somebody else will pick it up. Or you'll sell enough to say, hey, I need to print these copies so I can sell them myself,
Right.
Then it's good. If it's not any good, then,
Right.
just, you're out your money or whatever,
Right.
So that's what the problem with backing Kickstarters is. There's really no easy, it's just business. There's no easy way for you and me to be, we're friends.
Right.
And, your business is your business. I understand business is business.
Right.
So if you go and you say, I'm selling this online, whatever, okay, if you get copies, I'd love to carry them. You know what I'm saying? So maybe, somewhere along the line, maybe we come to a deal. Maybe it just comes down to money and percentages,
Well, is there anything, do you think that creators can do that would be, I think, not necessarily a transaction that would be helpful to a game shop, like events or something like that?
Yeah, the creator? Yeah,
Yeah.
run events. Come in, push your own product. Really promote yourself. It's about self-promotion and getting people to get on board with you to play it and stuff
Right.
like that. But once if you start playing it, people like games that other people enjoy. So it could be a terrible game, but if everybody's playing it, then people will play it.
Yeah.
It could be the greatest game ever, and then if nobody's playing it, then nobody's going to buy it, or play it.
Yep.
So just self-promotion and or even find somebody to help you promote it. I find that like I'm not making light of people or anything, but I find that not you at all, but sometimes creators are one of the worst enemies as far as like promoting the book. Like,
Oh, yeah.
if you're a great writer, you should probably get a business guy, to help you out or something like that.
Yeah.
This is the greatest thing ever because you think it's the greatest thing ever and it's worth $100 and somebody will be like, no, it's worth 20. But if you sell 1,000, it's worth, you know what I'm saying? They can break, but
Yep.
but yeah, just realize going in it's business, and just promote it if you love, and especially if you love it. If you're just promoting it, if you're just making something because you want to make it, if you're not, there's no feeling behind it or no love or no care, or you're just trying to make a buck, then it's probably not going to work. That's a flash in the pan. But
Yep.
if you want something with staying power that people will like.
So I guess I see a lot of small businesses of other types sort of struggling. Is that carrying over into the game business right now? But because there are also other businesses that seem to be doing just fine. So it's hard to know which ones are struggling and which ones aren't, and what kind of headwinds they have. Can you talk a little bit about that?
I'm probably the worst person to ask this, but
Should we get the boss over?
Yeah, no. I just because I don't eat on this.
Right.
This is all fun to me,
Right.
So if I don't I'm not making money. He eats on this. You know what I'm saying? Like that's his money. It's the manager's money. So I worry about them
Right.
to make the money. But it takes a lot of thing off me. But yeah, it's business is hard. You know,
Right.
I don't know.
Business is hard no matter what's going on. It's always
Sometimes
hard.
you got to make hard decisions. Like, all right, we're not carrying this. We're not buying this. I'm not going to pay this. That goes back to the Kickstarter. I can't buy all these things. You know, that
Right.
doesn't promote me. If nobody likes it, it's going to sit there. You know, I got to put this on sale, so I'm going to lose money on this, but it's sat there long enough. You know, it's just the hard decisions you got to make on what works and what doesn't work. You know, so it's like, okay, we got to get rid of this. We got to back off that. It's just, and I think sometimes just business is business. You know, it's survival. You know, it's capitalism. So the best one survives. Like there's other stores that survive that I wish I knew what they were doing to survive or how to grow. And I'm like, man, they're smarter, they're better. So I try to go there and, you know, pick their brains. Like when we go to Gamma or big conventions, what do you do? What do you do? What do you do? You know, I'm like, I almost hate giving advice, like, cause it's like, especially business, like as far as financial, like, I don't really know what I'm doing. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, so it's like, I'm just kind of here keeping the lights on, you know, and it's, as far as growing and everything else, I mean, if somebody's going to come, like I get suggestions from him and everybody else all the time. I'm like, well, let me listen. I'm not going to be a tyrant. And I'm going to say, okay, what do you got? You know, recently there was 2 or 3 closed locally.
Yeah.
Like
Really?
a couple bit. Yeah. 2 or 3 closed recently.
I knew there was one. I knew of one that was like changing hands or something like
yeah,
that.
it's always changing hands. And that's almost like,
yeah.
sometimes it's like kind of like a kiss of death because, you know, somebody.
For sure.
Well, you know, and the thing that I notice about and maybe we can wrap up on this, is the thing I notice about the game shops, and not just now, but in the past as well. The game shops that I've seen that have closed up have been what I think of as sort of just adequate game shops.
Oh, yeah.
Where you walk in and it's they're selling the same things that everybody else sells. You could tell that they're undercapitalized because the shelves are kind of thin. Like the product that's on the shelf is it's like the top selling thing that you see in all the other places, but you don't see anything that's a little.
The extras, yeah.
You don't see the expansion sets, or you don't see or maybe there's, you know, on a shelf that you could fit 4 games, you'll see 3 games or whatever it might be. So usually the games that the game shops that I see that go under are not well run to begin with. They're like just not very well run businesses to begin with.
That could be that's your answer. You know, sometimes it's just or somebody loses interest or they just fall behind so fast that they can't. Mm-hmm. It's just business. You know, it's like, well, I feel like, yeah. I mean, if if something happens, catastrophically, if it happens here, I'm like, well, you know, what am I going to do? I can't bail myself. You know, sometimes you got to drop back 10 and punt in the old scene or whatever. So it's like, yeah, I got to get out of it or something. But yeah, it's hard. It's a struggle each day, and if you're not up to it, it's rough. But yeah, it could be, and I'm not ragging on any other places. Sometimes they just have bad business. Sometimes there's too many shops in one place, you know, and sometimes
we do have a crazy amount of shops.
Oh yeah, in Cleveland area for some crazy reason.
It's one of the most populated game shop destinations, I think, in the country.
Yeah, it's nuts. I mean, it's like
so you're
within 20 miles. There's like a dozen shops or something nuts. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, it's a lot, and it's like, wow. But each one of them has their own. Like my wife always says, like Diana always says, you have to have your own niche about your store. Like what our niche is, how we do things,
Competitive advantage.
Yeah, yes. Customer service. Like I'm always a big fan of like ours is like, hey, I want you to feel like this is it's like your hangout or your, you know, like a bar to go to or your club to hang out.
That's what we get from people. They say they're comfortable here. They say,
you know, that's what we are.
I think to me going forward in this sort of very, you know, direct sales kind of world is the way a game shop really differentiates itself is by the community of people that it creates in the shop.
You'll pay, you know, you get people all the time. They're like, well, it's cheaper online, but I'm having fun here.
Yeah.
You know, I can pay an extra couple, you know, whatever the percentage.
It's usually an extra $5.
Yeah. I'll pay the extra money to hang out.
Sometimes 10.
You come in here, yell at me, and hear my rants, whatever way. Some poor girl was in today, and I'm ranting behind the counter about.
She's like, I just want this mini, please. I just want this small.
I'm going off about college sports.
Can I have this small base?
Need to get out of here. But, yeah, I'm laughing at you guys. You're funny, but But yeah, that's my honest take on that stuff.
Okay, well,
Honest, uneducated take.
is there anything? Is there anything? I'm sure there's a bunch of things, but is there anything that you think your typical customer doesn't understand about what you do here, or why? Or
We have to pay for everything. And there's a certain cost. I think the basic thing is I pay for something X dollars. I have to charge X percentage above that to make it work, or else it doesn't work. Like if I paid $5 for an item, I need to at least sell it for $8 to $9, even sometimes 10. If I don't, I can't cover rent, payroll, blah, 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 Right. The best example I got from, was it Chris from the Warzone? He says, every month I want you to take 4,000 of your favorite Magic cards, just burn them. He's like, what? Like he goes, that's your rent or whatever. What I'm saying? Right. That's your cap, your overhead. Just burn them and they're gone. And he goes, after that, then you can start, I'm like, oh, okay, that's a good description, I think.
Yeah.
Just realize that,
yeah.
Hey, you might have seen a guy buy 5 boxes of Magic in one setting, but
yeah.
Okay.
One of those boxes were actually your profit, and the
other four are rent and payroll and whatever, And I got to replace the stuff, so I have to make enough to replace it and pay for all that. So.
Yep.
It just everything has a cost, and there's a percentage that we need to get in order to survive. So it's not like I'm gouging or going crazy or
Well, and in a competitive environment like Cleveland, you wouldn't make it a month.
I like to think of us as the fancy. I like to drink my soda with my pinky up and say, this is the fancy game store.
Diet Coke.
We're totally not fancy here, by the way.
It's certainly one of the most welcoming and friendly crowds I've found in gaming. And I've been to a lot of game shops. I've been to some legendary game shops. The Complete Strategist in New York City.
Mm-hmm.
There used to be a great game shop in Northampton, Massachusetts. Modern Myths. It's no longer there. It's gone. That was known that Robin Laws and Kenneth Haidt of Chaosium and Pelgrane fame used to call it the best, one of the best game shops they'd ever been in. And even when you are running a great shop that people really love, it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be a successful business.
Especially you get older too. When you get older, you have to have somebody take it over, or else.
Yep.
Eventually, you get tired. Like I get tired sometimes.
gotta have a nap. They have he has a cot in the back of the.
He does. It looks like
I do have a big fluffy pillow.
It looks like a preschool cot.
Well, thanks, guys. I appreciate you answering some of my wacky questions about.
No problem.
They're great questions.
Stores.
Yeah.
And if everybody liked this, or give us a like, give us a subscribe, you can
join.
You can join.
Join now. We have our own built-in community within that 3-tier system. Every month, it's going straight to this room, straight to the cams, straight to the lights, straight to the action.
Speaking of which, we're
I think there's a leak in the ceiling too. So
Stop.
Let's get out of here.